that's where they hid it. The coordinates matched the archive.
(1974). The expedition followed magnetic anomalies deep into the remote forest. The compasses are completely haywire.
Answer it. Answer it.
At 3 in the morning, my house always feels particularly quiet, but that night the silence wasn't empty. It was oppressive, almost electrified. I was sitting at my old desk, going through the archive papers of my grandfather, a man who had spent his entire life working as a surveyor in the remote forests of Siberia. Among the yellowed maps and soil reports, I found a strange envelope sealed with wax that I had never seen before. Inside was not a report, but a journal filled with tiny, trembling handwriting and a single photograph that sent a shiver down my spine. The image didn't show a forest or mountains, but a strange, perfectly circular clearing in the middle of the Taiga, where the trees didn't grow upward. Instead, they were pressed against the ground by some colossal, unseen force, radiating outward like the spokes of a wheel. I began to read the journal, and with every page, the reality around me seemed to thin out. My grandfather wrote about how, in 1974, his expedition stumbled upon this object entirely by accident while following magnetic anomalies in their readings. At first, they thought it was a meteorite impact site, but as they approached, their compasses went haywire, spinning in chaotic circles, and the air became so dense that it was difficult to breathe. My grandfather described it as a zone where time decided to stop to catch its breath. The most terrifying part came next. 3 days into their camp at the edge of the clearing, every member of the group began to have the exact same dreams. They were living each other's lives in minute detail, including childhood memories, fears, and secrets they had never shared with anyone. I reached the final entry, which was no longer written in my grandfather's hand. The handwriting had become steady, almost calligraphic, as if someone else had written it. It contained only 3 lines. We never left that place. We simply split into pieces, and one of them is still there, watching the forest. In bewilderment, I looked up from the notebook and froze. The room was pitch black, but in the reflection of the window pane, I saw more than just myself. Standing a few meters behind my left shoulder was a human figure, its outlines just as blurred as in the old photograph. It didn't move, it simply watched me as I held the photo with trembling hands. I was afraid to turn around, terrified that if I looked directly, I would either see my own face or realize that I was the one, the part that never came back from the woods. At that second, my phone on the table vibrated, illuminating the room with a sharp, cold light. The screen showed an incoming video call from a number saved in my contacts, simply as Grandpa. a number that had been disconnected for 10 years. I knew that if I answered, something irreversible would happen, but a voice from the emptiness of the room whispered right behind my ear. Answer it. We need to finish the story. I reached my finger toward the screen, realizing that in this moment, my entire past life, my plans for tomorrow, and even my memories were just scenery that was now dissolving, leaving room only for the freezing, eternal silence that a surveyor had once discovered in the Taiga long ago. And as I touched the answer button, the phone screen flashed with a blinding white light, and in that moment, I finally understood what my grandfather meant when he said we never return from such places the same as we were.